Okay guys, thanks for joining us on another board game night. Tonight we're playing Islebound from Ryan Lookout and Red Raven Games. With me I have Martin, this is his copy of the game. I have Alan, I have Molo, who will inevitably become last, and myself, Jason. Okay, so Islebound is one of the new games from Red Raven, which is set up in this sort of crazy little world that above and below and all those places are set in. And what we're doing is we've got a ship with 3 starting shipmates. We've got 2 ambassadors and a worker, and we're moving at speed 2 to begin with. We have a cargo hold of 10, and what we're going to do is we each have a home port. So this is my home port here. On our turn, your speed determines how far you can move. So for example, I could move 1, 2, or rather there's a better space to go there to show you on the first turn. And then I can spend some money from my starting treasury, which will allow me to visit the port and do this action. In this situation, I can get 2 wood and then 1 extra wood for every worker on deck. Right? So this little cheat sheet was nice and easy to explain. So you can either visit the town or you can attack it, which if it's a red banner town, you can attack it. You need to equal that amount of strength by using pirates and sea monsters, and you can even use some of your workers as well. Or you can diplome with them, which is the blue banner ones, and you'll spend influence cubes from this influence track over here, and there's different ways of getting them on there in the first place. Once you've done that, you then take control of the city, marking it with a green cube in this situation. And then when you do that, it's free for you to go to those areas, but when other players come here, so for example, if Alan went there, he would have to pay me the money instead of to the treasury, and he can then do the ability. But if I go there, I can just do it for free. It's obviously, it gives you more money and it's worth victory points at the end of the game. So is money. There's a couple other things you can do. You can hunt for treasure instead of entering a city, which you'll get to take all the money from the treasury. The money that accumulates there is the money we spend to go into cities. And then you can do a couple of free actions as well. You can do building buys, which is over here. So in this situation, these 2 buildings, this one costs 5, this one costs 3, or you can use resources to build them at a special city, which is over there. But these ones, you need knowledge to buy these. So this one requires 1 knowledge, this one's 2, this one's 3. You don't spend the knowledge, you just have to have it to buy these buildings. But once a building is built, these buildings will shuffle down, and we will get some more. You can buy some workers as well. There's some events which are marked by these little wooden cubes over there. So there's one there, one there. You can go there and interact with those events and gain. So in this situation, you can gain 3 influence, or that one you gain 2 influence. There's some bragging rights where you can gain renown. When you move up the renown track, as soon as you reach level 7, you get one of these tiles, which I'll just have a quick show. Oh, isn't that fortuitous? It's the one I showed the guys. This was worth 7 victory points. They're all worth 7 victory points. But this one gives you immediately 2 influence cubes. And that's pretty much that. So on your turn, you do your move. You have to move because you're a ship for some reason. And then you do one of the actions, which is visit, attack, or diplome. Or you don't have to go into the building. You can just do the event and hunt for treasure. And then these are some of the special actions you can pause there, which allow you, like for example, worker actions and what fish and wood can do extra. Well, that's pretty much that. During the gameplay turn, you'll see more of how the game flows, because we'll show you how that goes, and then at the end of the game, we'll come back to you and tell you what you thought. Guys, have any questions?
Yeah. When did you learn the word fortuitous?
Oh wow! I've been hanging around with you guys too long. Okay, so we're going to start the game. We'll come back to you in a brief.
I've got a question actually. I was looking at the knowledge. So conceivably, there's no point having more than 3 each.
Well, you can spend books on other things.
You can get books to get renown. There'll be other things.
Are these finite?
I don't actually know.
They shouldn't be.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's it.
Alright guys, this is the gameplay turn. We've had a few revolutions.
And revelations.
Yeah. And so this is how we got on so far. So this is my player board. I've got 2 pirates. I've still got the same 3 workers I started with a couple of resources and a couple of towns. When I rest, I gain a fish, and when people visit my towns, I gain renown. This is what the board looks like. I own these 2 towns over here, and some of the guys have taken some towns Molo's taking that one over there, and he's starting one down there.
Me.
Martin's got that one, and Alan is basically got the party bus. All he's got is a load of people, but he's very popular. It's Martin's turn first. This is what the board looks over here. Martin's got 1 influence cube left, and the renown is like such.
So you can see actually that the influence track was quite full because I was here. In fact, it was up here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just spent it.
So now,
I have also been round the renown track as well. I've just got that.
which gave him a load of wood.
It did. I've got wood for renown.
So first thing he's got to do is move.
Okay.
You have to move.
I'm going to move to Fell's Garden.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 1 coin to get in Fell's Garden.
Which goes into the treasure.
When I visit Fell's Garden, I gain a wood because I have a little woodworking shop there. Thank you very much. I'm now going to use the ability there, which is spend a wood and exhaust a diplomat.
So spin a wood.
Ambassador, whatever they are.
Exhaust just goes to the hammocks below board.
And I put an influence token down and I gain a renown.
You always put the first to the left, so we have to start building up from the front again. And then,
I can now do 3 actions as well, but I choose not to.
which 3 actions is buy buildings or complete events and such. All right, Milo, what are you doing?
I'm going to travel to Rockslide. I'm going to do the event first in Rockslide, which is where you pay a pirate. So there's my pirate paid.
Yep, so that goes just to the supply.
Okay, and I get 1 influence cube.
Just show the card quickly. Okay. So at the top where his hand is, it shows 1 influence cube for completing that. There's a little bit of a glob, whatever, which now reveals a new one. Where is it?
Underval.
Underval. So where is that? Anyone see where Underval is? There it is. So the token moves from where Molo is to there. Now the new quest is there. Read it out, Molo.
New quest, Underval. A local blacksmith contacts you. I have some extremely precious star metal that needs to be transported to Thrim. Help me and I won't forget it.
Fair enough. So you spend a worker there and you gain an influence.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now I'm going to do the action of this town.
Okay.
Because I have the bank, I can pay the entry cost from the supply.
Wow, that's really good.
Okay, and I will pay 2 coins. Where are we? 2 coins. 6 for each worker I have.
I think I'm not 100% sure, but you pay the coin, but do you have to pay the ambassador?
Oh, yes, I haven't paid it yet. Sorry. There we go.
Fall back.
Okay, so yes, thank you. Fall back, and I will get a book and 2 renown. Okay.
Alright, so the book is obviously just knowledge, but the renown pushes you around. It goes to the 0, I think.
So I get.
Does he?
What is it?
Yeah,
1
to the 0. How many dice go?
Well, you gain
2,
2.
2.
So you're
7,
7,
and then
8.
back to off
So
the
I'm
track.
back to 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's my 7 renown that I've scored, but I also gained 2
more books.
So that's 3 books in total.
Books are obviously, the knowledge is obviously very useful because A, allows you to build more knowledgeable buildings, but it also allows you to trade.
More knowledgeable.
It allows you to trade books for other things, like for example, there's so you can trade books for renown
I
and so on.
will also purchase the bandit's hideout.
Okay.
There we go. Now that is the end of my go.
All right. So back to my go now.
So when did you say the game ends? When you've got 6 buildings?
7.
7.
Right. So as you can see, I've got some workers and I've got some resources, but I have no money.
Sailed now.
So I'm gonna move. Where am I gonna go to? What do they want there? Fish. That's not too bad. But I'm gonna go 1, 2. So no, I don't want to go there. I'm just gonna go there, and I'm not gonna go into the city. Instead, I'm gonna hunt for treasure. So what do you
A
do?
lot of gold.
When you hunt for treasure, you take all the gold from the treasury area. If there's none there and you want to hunt for treasure, you just get 1 anyway. So that goes into my hold. So I've got some money again. Now I've got 6. And so as you can see, I did the hunt for treasure action, but now I can buy a building or complete event. There's no event where I am. The buildings I have options of is I can School of War, which will take all my money, which will be really annoying. But when I gain books, I gain pirates. Or I can skip 1 empty space when placing cubes on the influence track. That's quite good. But I'm not going to... I think I'm going to hold on to my cash for this turn. So that is me done. Alan, what are you doing?
Blip, blip.
Yeah. So he's gone to the Underhill.
Oh no, I need to pay first.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so you pay one to
one
the,
into the treasure.
treasury. And then he's
He's awake.
going to cost you money as well.
Oh, he's going to cost me money as well.
That one goes to the bank. And for some reason, Alan's hoovering up all freaking dudes.
It's making it feel like we've got to, or I've got to grab a dude though. It's
there's only 4
adding
left.
Pressure.
Phrasing.
There is something that comes up the last time we played this, that it's something to do with how many people you have, so it could work out for you. Right, Martin, so back to your go again.
Holy cow.
There's only 8 of them.
I'm going to go to there.
So that's Martin's home port.
Port.
So he doesn't have to pay to enter your home port.
I'm going to rest my guys.
Right, that was the bed does. Rest, and then you can either gain a wood or a fish.
I think I'm going to gain another wood. Oh man, I should get a fish. Yeah, screw it, I'll get a fish.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Right, Molo?
Okay, I'm also going to sail back to my home port to rest all of my guys. So they all come back up here now. And then I'm going to spend all 3 of my books to get 6 renown on the track.
Okay.
So that'll put me back up to 0 and I get another 7.
What did you get?
2 pirates.
And 7 more points.
Indeed. Handy dandy.
Well, now, while I was filming you guys, I had not thought about what I was going to do.
How is that different to last time?
That's true. Alright. Maybe I will come get a guy before freaking Dingbat over there hoovers them all up. So I'm going to go 1, 2 to Morum.
Mm-hmm.
To enter Morum, I have to pay a coin. So I will pay a coin to the treasury, and also I have to exhaust one of my dudes. I'm going to exhaust one of my ambassador ladies. She's going to go down there. And then I get to buy a worker, and then I get a wood for every... Actually, I get to buy a character, and then for every worker I have. So the first one is free, so I'm going to just take that one, which is a worker and an ambassador. You guys in there, and then I gain 2 wood. So you can only hold 10 things in your cargo hold, so I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's good. And then it goes to Alan. Who are you going to buy today?
I'm going to go here.
Okay.
I'm going to spend a coin.
To me.
Oh, to you.
Yeah, because I own this.
Okay.
I own the city now, so I get a coin.
Cool.
Woohoo!
And I get 6 wood.
6 wood.
Which fills my cargo.
You're going to build Noah's Ark. Or...
I'm building a second boat. Jesus.
Alright, and that's 2 full rotations. So as you guys can see, it swings around pretty quickly. We didn't show you attacking or diplomacy, which is a little bit of a shame. But basically what that entails is if you go somewhere to take over a city, you can either attack them or diplome with them, and you need that score. So diplomacy, you need to spend 6 influence, or by attacking, you need to spend 6 attack points. So if you roll 1 dice, a 1, 2, or 3 will get you 1 point, a 4, 5, and 6 will get you 2 points on a pirate. And you can exhaust work. You can injure workers to gain more. And that's pretty much it. So we'll come back to you at the end of the game and tell you what we thought. Okay, so we've finished off the game. We've tallied up the scores. I actually don't know. Who came last between you two?
Oh, man.
How many points did you
You, man.
50.
Yeah.
And you, Martin?
I got 54, I think.
54. So it's pretty close between you two.
We're fighting after
still
dead
last.
last.
I came second with 69, and Molo.
78!
Yeah! It's because I ridiculed you in the beginning.
Indeed.
Well, there you go. The game is finished. You get victory points from buildings you own, from the victory point tiles you get from renown, any money you have, and that's pretty much it. If you have any special abilities, like Molo has one on one of his buildings, he gets victory points for resources. So that gave him some there, obviously the money, and then
Whatever's left on there.
on the renown track. So yeah, there we go. I had no money left. I got all my points via buildings and these things over here, and then I had 1 point down there. And what did you score your victory points from again? It was buildings and
Me, I
money.
got
You had
these
crap
3 of
money.
them and a bit of money.
You had a really good last turn, didn't you?
Oh, I got 19 points from the last round.
Yeah. So what did you guys think? How about you, Martin? This is your copy. Let's start with you.
It was okay.
It was your first play, of course, as
It
well.
was. It's fairly simple. I can't say I've worked out a strategy necessarily. I'm not really sure. I guess it's down to what buildings you buy, really, because they're the only permanent, well, I suppose, buildings and your people, but your people don't really do a lot in terms of point gaining. So I guess the buildings are really the only strategy you can kind of formulate, because as Alan found out, the things on the board don't actually give you any points. They give you an injection of cash when you take them.
Yeah, it's not an area control
that's
game at all.
No. So actually, having them taken off you isn't a big detriment.
No.
All it is you're going to lose that income of one, which is pretty much is one everywhere, whenever someone visits it, and that's all you're losing. So it's actually not that big a deal. But yeah, it's all right. I'm not blown away by it, but it's okay. I think out of 10, I'd probably score it 6.
Yeah. How about you, Alan?
I think I'd want to retry it with a greater understanding of the rules to kind of judge it.
I certainly think that helped.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a coincidence that you and I were last. Those two have played it before and smashed us.
I had the exact same experience you guys had the last time we played this first time. I played this, and I didn't really understand where you get your victory points from. And halfway through the game, I was like, I'm not really sure what's going on. You know, it's just move around, do stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, you get obviously income anytime you take a town, and then you get the income for it. So every time someone uses it, you'll get a coin. And I did the stupid thing of assuming that you get victory points based on the value that was on them at the end of the game, because a lot of games that I've played that have this kind of...
Well, it looks like an area
visual,
control, isn't it? But the areas are just throwaway.
So that kind of sucked. I mean, it seems odd that you'd have benefits for owning a 12-pointer. You know, some of them have different values, and, you know, what's the benefit of owning one over another?
It is, during the game flow, it is nice to have that massive injection of cash that you get from taking a town.
Yeah.
But it allows you to buy the buildings, which is where I think you get most of your points from anyway.
I think it's interesting, though, that there were buildings taken off other people, and yet there are still vacant buildings that weren't attacked at all. And I sort of think, towns, sorry. What is the benefit of that? Why wouldn't you just take the empty ones?
Yeah, for me, I thought I was pulling victory points for other people, so that really. But I hold my hands up to it. I screwed up, but because of the way I thought the game worked,
19 points,
totally. But for me, it was very much a case of pulling other people back down while I'm getting pushed ahead. So for me, that was a tactic I was trying to play with in that, and obviously it bit me in the ass at the end.
Well, I mean, the pirates don't score at the end, and that doesn't score at the end. So, you know, it's handy for even if it's a minor bonus you get from it, or a minor handicap you give it to somebody.
It would have changed the way I played the game quite entirely, which is why I don't think it's fair for me to rate it until I've played it.
It's totally
with the correct rules.
And it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah. Go on then, give us a rating.
I'm going to go with a 6.
Okay. I don't know, this game, it's interesting. There's still stunning artwork from Ryan. I love the world he's building here, and everything is really, really cool. It's a very familiar feel about this game to the other games like Above and Below and City of Iron.
It reminds me a lot of what the hell is the space one called? Empires of the Void.
Empires of the Void, yeah. So it's very familiar in that ways, but for me this is probably the weakest out of all the games I've played from Red Raven, and it's just because I don't feel there's a direction going in here. There's you're just kind of milling about and buying buildings and see what happens sort of
There
thing.
isn't a lot of substance to it, really.
No.
There's a lot of randomness to it as well, which kind of determines what kind of engine you're building and how you're going to proceed.
I mean, it's not a terrible game. I don't dislike it. I like it. It's a fine game. It's not my favourite. If you had to say, let's play a Red Raven game, this would be very low down on the list. It's got some interesting mechanics. I do like, you know, some of the stuff that happens. Obviously, like I love building the buildings and seeing how that comes out. The renown and influence things are interesting, but they're not brand new or, you know, new ability. It's just a solid, interesting looking game. The area control is completely off-putting. I think every time someone plays this for the first time, they think it's an area control game. I'm going to gain these abilities from these buildings, but it doesn't really. I don't really think that's the.
Oh no.
I mean, Little D won this last week when we played this, and he did a similar thing that I did, was just buy as many buildings as you can and try and get a combo from those buildings, and just go with that and get as many victory points as you can from the renown track.
So what I was doing, looking for the buildings that would suit what I was doing the most. And
Yeah,
just take
I had a little
advantage of
combo where if I gain books, I gain pirates and gain fish, and I just went with that. For me, I think I'd also give this a 6. Components are good, artwork's brilliant, theme is fine. Just gameplay, I don't know.
I think it's a bit too light, to be honest.
Yeah, it is very
There's
light.
only 2 resources, and there's not really much to do with those resources. I mean, yes, you can build the buildings with those. You can build a museum out of 4 fish and a wood, obviously. But you have to go to this area to do that, and they're quite cheap anyway. You're almost better off spending them. I mean,
Yeah.
In fairness, this and the pirates are a resource. They're something you spend to gain something. They're not really, you're not really attacking, which is where the confusion over the area control comes from. You're just sort of paying the pirates for it.
How about you, Molo? How much would you rate this?
I quite like playing it. It's not, like I said, it's not the sort of most massive game in the world, but I like that there's a sort of sedate nature to it that I quite like. I'd give it a 7, I think.
That's the highest rating yet, and I 3 6s and a 7. Yeah, it seems like we put it on a bit of a down on the game, but it's too light for us, I think.
There's no real interaction.
No, it does miss that.
You're
the
playing
interaction
your own
is
game.
almost blocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
But even then, it's very minimal, because if you want to move to an area that someone else has their ship in, you pay a diplomat. If you want to move to an area that someone else controls the town, you give them a coin. That's it.
Well,
That's the only real...
But I think, I don't want to put words in the designer's mouth, but his first game was very, Empires in the Void, literally just throwing ships at other people and having big fights all over the shop. And he seems to have moved away from that, and all of his games gone really kind of almost low interaction with a lot of them, and it's possibly his taste has changed, or it's possibly what he feels that people want out of his games, and they don't want kind of super aggressive games where they're dicking each other over.
Now, I have to say, this is really simple, almost too light for you, you're saying. Another game with a sort of similar idea of picking up and sort of transporting things. I think you put it out there somewhere, but Firefly. Really didn't like Firefly. I quite enjoy this. I mean, it's not...
Yeah, well, Firefly takes like 10 times longer as this.
Yeah. But yeah, and that has
And it
very...
has a lot less interaction.
Yeah, really minimal interaction. At least there's something going on here.
On the flip side, this game is not long. I mean,
No.
we're filming it, that's why it takes a little longer. And also the turns move pretty quickly. It's move your ship, do the action, that sort of thing. So that's pretty good. Obviously, component-wise, these are the upgraded components, but you get cardboard chits with this normally.
Yeah, I think the board is a bit disappointing as well. It's quite small, and there's not enough variability in it. Like if we were to play it again, the tiles might be in slightly different places, but basically they're all there, and they've all the same abilities. And yes, they're double-sided.
Yeah, we use the advanced section.
except for that one, apparently.
This is the other side. I don't know what, other than the town abilities, they're not that much different.
I'd imagine that by its nature, though, it makes the board expandable, so you can add things to it.
Oh,
presumably.
maybe. I mean, this game also comes with these workers. On the flip side, you can use them in above and below. So, like for example, this guy, you can add him to above and below, which
basically it's
you see the symbols there. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that they're linked. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
the difference between the backs is fairly minimal. What they've done is just basically switch 2 around. So now the one that was attackable before is now a diplomacy city.
Yeah, and there's slightly variations
it.
on what benefits you get.
Really fairly minimal.
I'm not sure what makes it advanced.
No.
Well, there you go. Islebound is okay. If you're looking for other games from Red Raven, they're much better, in my opinion. This one's just an average.
Yeah, it's no above and beyond.
Very light, very okay-ish. There you go. See you there. Thanks for watching,
Ciao.
guys. Yeah.